You're listening to Power 750 WAUG and online at power750.com. If you're looking for affordable health and insurance coverage, well then give Jonica Rowland of the Rowland Group a call. She's here to serve families, individuals, and small businesses. Contact her at 919-719-7211 or at 919-539-2492. Once again, contact Jonica Rowland of the Rowland Group. Welcome to another edition of the Babe Tom Herman Show with your host here, Herman Thomas. And I certainly hope that you're enjoying your early morning coffee with Babe Tom Herman on this Saturday morning. Now, on this past Thursday, as you all know, the NFL draft took place and began. So, like I always say, after the NFL draft is completed, in the next few weeks, there will be several new millionaires added to the statistics for this great country. There'll be some new instant millionaires just from sign-on bonuses alone. But certainly, I would like to say congratulations to the number one overall draft pick, Andrew Luck, for, as we all know, no new news or no big news. We knew all, at least toward the end of the NFL season, and when the Indianapolis Colts waived legendary quarterback Peyton Manning, who is now with the Denver Broncos, we all knew, didn't take a rocket scientist to realize that Andrew Luck would end up with the Colts. And also RG3, the Heisman Trophy winner, will be a Redskin. So interesting to see how these two will do. I'm sure they will both be successful in the NFL. But this season coming up, I don't expect, and I don't think many experts expect any miracles with either team. Both teams are going to go through some growing pains. We know last year the Indianapolis did. Washington started off good and ended up bad. So I would think that Washington has a better chance, I must say, to probably finish in at least a decent 7-9. Indianapolis, I would be probably more or less consider it a huge success if they finish 6-10. And that's just me. Now, a lot of criticism has come Luck's way. Some people say he doesn't have great arm strength. But when you look at the film, when you look at the video of Andrew Luck, he needs some work on the mechanics. And I think the mechanics are going to have to come from a quarterback coach at the next level, which is the NFL. Because a lot of his arm strength, to me, the reason the ball's floated a lot in deep passes and may have come up a little short is because he threw off his back leg a lot. That doesn't mean he has a weak arm. That just basically means it's the mechanic issue. It's just him trying to throw off his back leg rather than his lead leg. So certainly I do think that in due time, both of these quarterbacks will leave a major impression after their careers are over. You're going to hear about both of these quarterbacks, maybe one or both in the NFL Hall of Fame. Now, the knock on RG3 is that he is very athletic, but when you think of RG3, and when I think of RG3, I think of more like a Randall Cunningham than I do a Michael Vick. A lot of people are comparing him to Michael Vick. Yes, from the athletic standpoint, the running, sure, but from the passing, Randall Cunningham had a strong arm, and RG3 has an even stronger arm in my eyes. So I look at him as more of as a Randall Cunningham type of quarterback, more or less than a Michael Vick. Now, you might call him a Michael Vick with a better arm. That's what a lot of people are saying. But certainly there's going to be some excitement, and rightfully so, in Indianapolis and also in Washington. And with that being said, I'm sure each of you heard a few weeks ago that Tim Tebow received the Bronx cheer at the Yankees game 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't call it a Bronx cheer. It was just a mix, boo and cheers, sort of like the Yankees do to their pitchers if they're having a bad game. But on Wednesday night, during the NBA Knicks Clippers game, get this, Mark Sanchez along with teammate Santonio Holmes, neither one of them get along. That relationship is bad. I think and both of them were booed at Madison Square Garden once again in the first quarter of the Knicks Clippers game when they were shown on a giant scoreboard. I think that it's probably twofold. They might have been booed from one point of view. They might have been booed because nobody was buying, okay, things are better for them or better with them. I don't think anyone bought that. And secondly, that I think they may have been mad is because there were probably a lot of Giants fans in the crowd. So, of course, you know, a Giant fan's not going to cheer for a Jets player, and a Jets fan's not going to cheer for a Giant fan. So, I think that may have been, you know, a little blown out of proportion, but that could be the very reason why both players were actually being booed. When I come back from this message from our sponsor, I'll be talking about the NBA playoffs.
A natural skincare studio. Now your new neighborhood skincare studio. Professional, friendly, relaxing, personalized attention. Now offering facials, natural manicures, pedicures, and waxing. Come check us out at 711 Iredell Street, Suite 3A, Durham, North Carolina, 27707. Give us a call at 919-416-1490 or check us out on our website at www.misseajbeauty.com.
Once again, remember that's a natural skincare studio located in Durham, North Carolina. So please feel free to give Eugenia Jones a call and set up that appointment. Now, before I took a break, I mentioned that I will be going over the upcoming NBA playoffs, which begin this weekend. But before I do, I just found something very hilarious. And I'm just saying hilarious to myself, speaking out of sarcasm. Larry Brown blasts Michael Jordan's Charlotte. We all know who Michael Jordan is. If you don't, my God, where have you been the last 25 years? Michael Jordan, former NBA great as a player, sucks as a owner. But anyway, Larry Brown blasts Michael Jordan in the job he's doing as owner of the Charlotte Bobcats. He stated that during his time there, the Bobcats cultural spies and certain people that made him sick. And my opinion on that is that basically, Larry Brown, you're sick. I hope you're listening to this. I probably never in my time as watching basketball as a child, I remember Larry Brown when he coached UCLA. He act like then he was larger than life. Then he went to Kansas. Act like then he was larger than life. Nothing changed. Then he went to the NBA. Act like he was bigger than life then. Once again, with each team, nothing changed. Then he became coach of the Olympic team. I want to say the 04 Olympic team, in which they won, I think, the bronze medal. Who cares? It wasn't the gold. So I'm not focusing on that. He thought and acted like he was larger than life then. Nothing changed. And to this very day, I think he's now going to be the head coach of SMU, Southern Methodist University's basketball team, and he's going in there acting the same, that he's bigger and larger than life. So all I can say, Larry Brown, even though you make me sick to the stomach by making that comment, and no, I'm not really a Jordan fan or fanatic, Larry Brown does make me sick. But one thing I do say that I do appreciate about Larry Brown, he's consistent. Because he still, after all these years, think he's larger and bigger than life. So congratulations on getting my larger and bigger than life award. Now, once again, the NBA playoffs actually start on today. And, many people have asked me who do I think would be the favorite team. Now, the team that really surprised me, and I'm going to go on record to say, is the Chicago Bulls. Well, why do they surprise you? Biggest part of the season they played without their star, Derrick Rose. How many teams could, finish strong like they have and get the number one seed of the Eastern Conference without their star player? So I think it's going to be the East, of course, is going to be between Chicago and Miami. Man, and I hope that Chicago plays much better than they did against them last year. I really do. Now, the West, once again, San Antonio Spurs, they look like they're going to finish with the number one seed. I think they were number 1 last year, if I'm not mistaken. They were either number 1 or number 2 last year. I'm more than certain they were number 1 and ended up being bounced in the first round of the playoffs by the Memphis Grizzlies. This time, it looks like San Antonio should be able to get out the first round. I'm going to say they are. You know, Tim Duncan is not the same Tim Duncan, but he's a team leader. And with George Pop there and Tim being a coach on the floor during his minutes, they're going to be a strong favorite to win it. Now, I'm sure Oklahoma City is going to have a lot to say about it. I'm sure my Lakers, once again, I'm sure my Lakers will have something to say about that. And speaking of the Lakers, they will be without the services of guess who? I'm going on record to call him Ron Artest. I forget Meta World Peace because he didn't look like Sunday when he swung that bionic elbow. Didn't look like there was no peace, P-E-A-C-E once again involved in that elbow. More like P-I-E-C-E. P-I-E-C-E. He tried to take a piece of James Harden's head off. Let me use piece in a sentence. He tried to take a piece of James Harden's head off. But as bad as it was, I think Harden missed 1 or 2 games because of, I know he missed the rest of that game because he suffered from the symptoms of a concussion. And rightfully so, because that was a hard hit. I was surprised he came back up and played for the short span he did afterwards. But certainly glad that James Harden has been cleared to play in the playoffs. So good news for the OKC Thunder. Bad news for the Lakers is that Ron Artest has been suspended for 7 games. So it all depends on how many games that the Lakers go in the first round. It could affect them on through, through the playoffs, especially if they have quick series. Are they a better team without him? No. They really need him. He's been playing strong, with the exception of that boneheaded move he made Sunday. He's been playing relatively strong, helping the Lakers on this strong end of the season. So, it just remains to be seen how this will affect the Lakers. But I'm certainly glad and happy that James Harden, who had nothing to do with that hit, he was just a victim of Ron Artest's foolishness, that certainly he's not going to miss the playoffs because the OKC Thunder will definitely make a strong run. Dallas Mavericks, don't look for them to repeat as NBA champions. Please, I would be very surprised. It looks like they're going to have to play OKC in the first round. I'm looking for them to be through. Probably OKC will win that in 4 or 5 games. I'm looking for a sweep, but wouldn't be surprised if Dallas just wins one for old time's sake. You're the defending champions. You don't want to go out with a donut like the Lakers did last year to Dallas. So I'm certainly looking for the OKC Thunder to end that miserable season that Dallas had or are having so far. Now, before the next break, I just want to remind you, if you want to keep up with the NBA playoffs and your favorite team, please go to NBA.com to keep up to date on the playoffs. Also, currently the NHL Hockey League is going through their playoffs, so please feel free to keep informed with the playoffs of the NHL at NHL.com. Durham Bulls have been going through a nasty losing streak here of recent. Been going through a little struggle, but I look for them to bounce back. Please feel free to go to MILB.com. That's Mary Ingle, Larry Bob.com. Also, Major League Baseball is currently on the way during this great Major League Baseball season so far. You can go to MLB.com. Oh man, what a game it was last week. I looked at the TV. The Yankees were down to Boston 9-0. Turned my head. Yankees winning 15-9 and finished the game winning